What's up, YouTube? Adam Grover coming back at you with another video. Now what I'm going to do is show you the poor man's way of measuring quench or figuring out your quench. Now, I've never been too crazy about knowing what quench is until more so recently. So if you don't know what quench is, it's just the area between the top of the piston and the bottom of the deck on the cylinder head. So that's all it is. Now, I always thought there was more to it than that. Granted, it does play a major role in making horsepower. You know, if you have too much quench or too little quench, all that stuff matters. But I noticed something with the engine I got out of this wagon. And I'll show you guys what I got going on. So, this is obviously the piston and the block. This is at top dead center right now. So this rod is actually, it's where the pin is floating, the rod's floating. It's not going to go up any further. It's not going to come down any further. All right, so this is right where the pin of the piston is going to float. Now, if you notice, in this area, I hit the block. So we're not zero deck here. This isn't perfectly flat. This piston isn't at zero on this cylinder. Or other cylinders for that matter. It's not a zero deck. And that's more than 10 thousandths in the hole. Because 10 thousandths you'd hardly be able to... You wouldn't be able to see it like that. Right? So... I still got to clean this cylinder head surface up, but I got a pretty good clean spot other than the paint here, which we're not going to hit. I got a pretty clean spot right here. You can see I scrubbed this pretty good with a rag. Got all the residue off. Not really too dirty. Now you're supposed to use gauges and all this fancy stuff, but I own a micrometer. Get these at Harbor Freight relatively cheap, and they're actually pretty accurate. Now, this is already zeroed out because I used this recently. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, this moves, and it tells you your measurements. So I'm going to clean this, because this does have to be clean. Alright, now we're negative. I'll zero it again. Alright, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. Doesn't matter how much because I'm going to close it. I'm going to hold this like that. I'll grab it here. Now I got both my hands so this way I can control this, or if I have to move just this piece, you can see my fingers here moving because I'm pushing this part down, right? But what I got to do, I want to get this as far over as I can, and I want to make sure that I'm pretty straight. I don't want to tilt it too far in, I don't want to tilt it too far up because it's going to manipulate the number. So I want to try to get it as flat and even as possible. And I don't want to be too far over because here it's going to give me a false reading because it's going to try to drop into the piston. It's not going to be at the top of the piston. So you want to make sure when you do this that you're on the flat spot of the piston. Alright, these pistons are a little dirty. Now, this being dirty, it will affect the number, but I mean, like right now it's at 37. So it's going to actually take it away. It's going to make the number better. So if we're at 37, it might go to That's how delicate this is. If you never used one of these. 37. Yeah, alright. It would probably be like 36 and a half for the carbon thickness of this. It might even be 36. I mean, you can see even from 35 to 40, it's not much of a big difference between the caliper gap right here. So let's get to it. So you want it on the top of the piston. You want this flat. I don't want to be on that paint. I want to hold my hand on here and I want to push down. I want to make sure, now I'm crooked, so I'm going to push, make sure that I'm as straight as possible when I do this. Alright, so right about there, reading about 37 thousandths, that's actually crooked. Looks pretty straight there. 40 thousandths. That's about right. That's pretty close to being pretty straight. So 40 thousandths between this deck surface and the piston top. And then I'm going to stack a 27 thousandths compressed head gasket on this. Now that means when I torque the head down, that gasket's going to compress down to 27 thousandths. Excuse me. Still got this cold. I apologize, guys. So we got 40 here. Let's just say we're going to keep it at 40. And then 27. So that's 67 thousandths of quench that we're going to have from the top of the piston to the bottom deck of the cylinder head. 67 thousandths. Now, when you're building an engine, it depends what rods and stuff you have. But depends on a couple factors. Power adder, things like that. But typically, it's like 35 to 45, around there, thousandths of quench. And we're almost double that. I mean, if you want to say 35 thousandths to 67 thousandths, and that's with a thin head gasket. That's not with a factory head gasket. A factory head gasket, I want to say, is 41 thousandths compressed. So 41 thousandths plus 40, that's 81 thousandths of quench in this engine. That is killing some power. That's way too much quench area. So what I'm trying to do and accomplish, and the reason I'm looking into all this, was mainly because I want to see the camshaft I can fit. It's not so much to get the quench. I mean, I want to get the quench taken out of it, but it was mainly, the main purpose was to try to figure out if I could fit the cam that I want to fit in the engine inside of it. That's a dish piston. As you guys can see, it's a factory 68 cast piston. It's got 4 valve reliefs in it. Now, the cam that's in it, the Renati, it's 536 lift on both sides. You guys got to see me install that. I had a Steeda 19 cam in this engine at first. That's what I was going to use with the stock stuff. But now, I got a set of heads. I paid for them. I'm waiting for them to be shipped. But I bought a set of heads. Those heads, they're milled. They have 202, 160 valves in them. That's what they come with. So I have to check and see if I have clearance with this cam and those heads. Now I'm going to check this without a head gasket on it because I already got 40 thousandths between the head and the piston. So I want to see if it'll clear without having the notch pistons. If it does, then I can probably notch the pistons and put the cam I really want in it. The main reason for the gasket thickness, other than quench, is I'm trying to bring the compression up because it will help bring the compression up running a thinner head gasket. The heads I'm getting, they started life as a 58cc chamber. They have been cut and angle milled. I don't know what the chamber is now. I'm going to have to put them together and CC it. But we got a little while before that. I got to get the heads, and then the heads, I got to get the stuff for them because I bought a bare set of heads. I don't want to say where they came from right now and what they are. I want to get them here first. But I bought them used, and they're going to end up being done. So when I get those, I'll make a video and show you guys what I'm talking about, plans for them, and I'm going to see if I can get these, figure out camshafts, what I want to do for a cam, because I really don't want to run this Lunati if I go with this setup. Will it work all right? Yeah, but the numbers on it here and there, my dad actually pointed out the duration's kind of, and the more I think about it, the more that bothers me, because I do plan to put gear in the car. So, and I think it'll make more power with a bigger cam in it than 536 lift, considering the heads will probably flow upwards of around 550 to 600 lift. So I'm going to try to push the envelope on this, most likely. If I can get the motor to spin over without a head gasket on it, with the head sitting on it, that's how I do stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to clay it at that point. If it spins over, great. If it don't, then I'll clay it. I'll see where it hits. I think I'm going to have to widen the brow, and I might also have to move the brow for the valve relief. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say the brow, just in case nobody knows. So this is the brow that I'm talking about. It's the brow of the valve relief. So intake, exhaust. So I think I'm going to have to take this, because this is probably for a 1.7 valve, not a 202. So since they're angle milled, I might have to actually move this to here. It's probably not going to be up here. It's probably going to move this down slightly. And then I'm probably going to have to widen it some. So I'm going to buy the tool that goes in the head, and it goes on a drill. You put a drill on it, and you just literally, it's like a valve that goes in the head with a cutter on it. And I'll just press right into this and cut as much as I want out. And this way it notches nice, and it's dead center to where I want it. So running out of time to make the show I want, but I kind of want this engine the way I want it. And if I'm going to be putting heads on something, I want this car to run the way I want it to run. I don't want to put a mediocre setup in it and have it run mediocre or average. I think what it did, kind of what I wanted it to do with even these heads and that cam. I mean, worst comes to worst, I might have to run that cam anyway. But I would like to be able to get the cam I want. So we're going to see. After I measure some stuff, I'm picking up a push rod tool off my buddy, because I don't know where mine is at the moment. So my buddy Alex has one. I already asked him to borrow it. He said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So that way I can figure out push rod length, get those ordered after I get the heads here. Because I can measure that and then just add 27 thousandths to that for the head gasket thickness. Also, you're going to have a little bit of the plunger for the lifter that can take up some of that slack. because it's hydraulic roller. It's not solid, nor will it be solid. It'll stay hydraulic roller. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. So you guys got to see a little bit of talk on quench. Like I said, I never knew quench till more so recently, and I thought there was more involved with quench than what there really is. I just explained it to you what it is, but and there is a lot of science behind it, how an engine reacts to different amounts of quench, but I'm not getting into all that. Not tonight, at least. So that's pretty much it. And when I get the stuff and figure some more stuff out, I'll let you guys know. I ordered a new oil pan for it, so that should be here. I think it was actually supposed to be here today, but I don't know if I got any packages. I'll have to look. Either today or tomorrow. What's today's date? 10th. I think I said it was supposed to be here the 9th, but I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to be the 10th or the 11th. I don't know. I don't remember now. Ordered that in silicone off Amazon. But I got that stuff, so I'm going to get the pan. I want to get it painted. I got to order gaskets. There's a lot of crap I got to order for this thing. I got to get all the gaskets, oil pump, ARP shaft, all the stuff I told you guys in, I think, the last video. So that'll be the next stuff that I do, probably. After the heads get here, I'll order the stuff for the heads. I can get those built and together. The guy I ordered the heads from, or bought the heads from rather, he had a set of valves in stock. So he's sending me the intake valves, but I got to buy exhaust valves still. I got to buy valve springs still, rocker studs, and guide plates. And then I'm going to probably buy rocker girdles as well. The heads were cheap. They're not the best heads, but they're not the worst head. So when I get those, I'll unbox them with you guys and show you them. So you got that to look forward to in the near future. Alright. So thank you guys for watching. And if you like this stuff, like, subscribe. And getting pretty close to 500 subscribers, so that's pretty cool, I guess. So, till next time, guys. Catch you guys later.